Snap counts are found by mousing over Stats on the Footballguys.com homepage and clicking on Team Stats. Choose the team whose snaps you want to see and click their Season Stats link. We're going to look at San Diego in this example. From the team page, click on Snap Counts, and now we've got a chart with each player's snap counts for every week of the season, sorted by position. With Keenan Allen suffering a season-ending injury in Week 1, we knew there would be some value in San Diego's wide receiver corps heading into a home matchup against Jacksonville. The only question was which wide receiver would benefit most. If I were looking only at the snap counts, I might assume Dontrell Inman was the best play. He saw the most snaps and has the longest tenure on the team, but his Week 1 stat line was anemic. Inman had only 1 catch for 6 yards on 3 targets. Travis Benjamin was heavily targeted but didn't have a great game, and then Tyrell Williams came up with a couple of big grabs. But who knew if that performance was a fluke after only 1 game? One of the things that helped my decision making heading into Week 2 was to look at the San Diego wide receiver snap counts in conjunction with their target data. So I copy and pasted their snap counts into a spreadsheet, and then copied their Footballguys target data onto a new tab. I wanted to determine how often Phillip Rivers targeted these guys on a per-snap basis. This would be easy enough to figure out without resorting to Excel, since we're only talking about a 1-week sample, but you can imagine that as the season progresses and we're working with bigger data sets, a little automation usually goes a long way. So now I want to get the Week 1 target data onto the same sheet as my snap count data. So first I'll label my column for targets here. Then I'm going to use an Excel function called VLookup, or Value Lookup. The Week 1 targets I want are located on Sheet 2, and they start in cell C2. So I'm going to type in equals VLookup, followed by parentheses, and then you can see how Excel wants me to format the formula. First I have to choose the lookup value, which is the player's name. We know that was found on Sheet 2 in the same cell, so I'll type in A2, then the name of the table that has the data I want to pull, which is Sheet 2, followed by an exclamation point. Then Excel wants the table range, and in our case that's going to be columns A to C. Next it wants the column index number, which is the number of the column on the sheet that has our data, in our case 3. And then the last thing is the range lookup, which defines how close a match should exist between your lookup value and the value here in our name column. We want an exact match, so I'll put 0. Now I'll just drag that formula into the remaining cells, and I've got my targets on the same sheet. From here, if I wanted to look at targets per snap, I'll make a new column header and just divide targets, C2, by snaps, B2, change it to a percentage, and I've got my results. Again, this is a dangerously small 1-game sample, and it was evident by the number of targets each player received how these percentages would break down, even without factoring in their snap counts. But it did become more evident how much of a non-factor Inman was when you considered how much he was on the field relative to how much Phillip Rivers looked for him. It made Benjamin and Williams easy choices, and it worked out in Week 2 as Inman had another 1-catch day, while both Benjamin and Williams had nice games.